What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Industry Season 3. Season 3 has concluded on HBO, and man, I've been on this Industry ride for a while, since episode 1 of Season 1 when it aired, and yet the show continues to get better and better. Industry Season 3 is the best season of Industry, and Industry is one of the best shows on TV right now. Creators Mickey Down and Conrad K have such a fearlessness to where they take this series. They cover so much ground and go through so much story, and thus you get so much character. A different show would have spent its entire runtime with its young traders on the floor of Pierpoint, the investment bank. By the end of season 3, Pierpoint is no longer doing the type of trading we had come used to. A different show would have had all of season 3 revolve around the Lumi IPO and Kit Harington's character. Instead, that story was resolved in 3 episodes. Industry Season 3 gave us HBO's Uncut Gems featuring Rishi. Having Harper leave Pierpoint at the end of Season 2 has now let Myha'la blossom in this role as Harper has become the boogeyman on the show. Ken Leung's Eric has risen up into a key member of this series, which originally was more focused on its younger characters. I'm just so over the moon with this show because it's kind of unlike anything we have right now. It takes a lot of inspiration from shows we like. I think the early stuff with the sex and the drugs with the younger characters, very reminiscent of Euphoria. Of course, the Succession comparisons regarding the machinations at Pierpoint and whatnot, very obvious yet effectively accurate. More than anything, though, I think the world building of Pierpoint has been so on point, and it's been a common refrain with this show. But the fact that industry is able to maintain and ratchet up tension and dramatic stakes in the world of high finance using jargon and terminology that the average person does not recognize in the slightest just speaks to the strength of its writing, the strength of its acting, and its character development. You understand the stakes and the tension even if you don't understand the details, because you don't need to know the details when it comes to this show. Definitely was a pivotal season for Marisa Abela's Yasmin. Of course, the Yaz character has been a bit unique from her peers on the show due to her fame, her famous father. Of course, he's incredibly in battle. We learn a lot about that, a lot of the troubles of her youth at the very end of the season. But more than anything, season 3 leaves us at quite the crossroads, and more than a crossroads, more of a turning point for the show. The show is leaving behind its first era, you could say, and Yaz is a big part of that, where she knows deep down that she can't be with Rob, Harriet Lottie's Rob, because there's a ceiling on Rob's ability in society, and thus she decides to enter into a arranged marriage of sorts for financial but really power reasons, with, of course, Kit Harington's character, the Lumi CEO. It's a decision that you completely understand because the show does the groundwork to develop that over the course of the season. And the goodbye they have in the finale and how kind of abrupt and somewhat cold it is, man, like it's a bit heartbreaking, but it also kind of hits. And it's funny because it's like they were not like a romance that you were like super invested in following over the course of the series. They were usually just friends over the course of the 3 seasons. And yet, like, it does feel like a big shift, as perhaps Rob as well might be going off the Silicon Valley. Will he be on the show? I'm pretty sure he will be, but we'll see. Of course, Pierpoint has shattered its London trading desk following its, last minute ability to sell itself to the Gulf. Where does that leave Eric, who has received a nice payout but no longer works for Pierpoint? Eric could be doing anything in season 4, which we know the show is officially renewed for, or he could just be another bank. Who's to say what's going to happen next? I think that's what's so exciting about where the show leaves us, where it's a show with such creative juice, such confidence, and yet it has kind of wiped its board clean at the conclusion of season 3. It's exciting. Throughout the course of the season, I think the Industry Season 3 also really, expanded the world once again by bringing in the notion of class. And of course, that's a big aspect of Yasmin's decision to leave Rob, but also, a big aspect of the plotting of the show as we get to know a bit about Otto's, wealthy power broker character, and Harper's fascination with him and his fascination with her her abilities and whatnot. The controlling of the media, collusion with politicians, the sham, parliamentary hearing that Rob is paraded out to do and be the whipping boy for Pierpoint following the Lumi debacle. The show has branched out to I think a pretty significant degree while still maintaining its core ethos of what it's been about. Of course, the Rishi Uncut Gems episode stands out as a triumph of an episode, but more than anything, season 3 continues the kind of miraculous creation of the Rishi character, in the sense that that was a character that was in the background, giving you one-liners, part of the greater ensemble, and just continued to blossom and grow and become a favorite of the writers' room and whatnot. And then you get to season 3, and it's this incredibly tough to watch arc, concluding with Rishi, of course, no longer working with Pierpoint following the changes at that bank, and him now seriously lacking in liquidity as he has a 600-pound debt to his bookie, which results in his estranged wife being murdered right in front of him. To think that would have been a storyline developed and paid off in season 3, when you started watching season 1, no one would have thought that was coming, but it shows how strong their show is. I'll be curious how much of Kit Harington we get in future seasons, because of course we're going to get a lot of Marisa Abela, we're going to get a lot of Yaz. So how much of Kit? Is he just part of the ensemble now? Curious. Also, there's also reference to Jay Duplass's Bloom character getting out of prison following tax evasion at the end of season 3. Of course, he was a key figure in season 2. Who's to say? I enjoyed the addition of Sarah Goldberg as Petra and her partnership and also differing of opinions with Harper. I think the journey that Harper goes on with Petra is pretty cool, in the sense that Petra is the one at the ESG fund who is unlike everyone else and wants to be more like Harper. But then once they begin working together at Leviathan, once they leave that fund, Petra sees the true colors of Harper's boogeyman status as someone who is not afraid to do things illegally, basically, in the financial world in terms of privileged information and chasing and seeking power and whatnot, executing the trade at any costs, right? I could go on, but I think the takeaway is just that Industry Season 3 has just so much to it. The show has expanded and been greater for it, and hasn't sacrificed anything that was fun about it in its early run. And now we're at this true turning point for the series where we have no idea where season 4 is going to go. But I have complete confidence in the creative team that it will be an excellent show when we do get it. Let me know, what did you think about Industry Season 3? What was your favorite aspect of the series? And for more TV reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.